Hey wrestling fans, the Bobby Holiday here, and welcome to the first ever edition of the Bobby Holiday Show. In my first ever episode, I will be sharing with you my predictions for the upcoming Clash of Champions pay-per-view. Honestly, the card for this pay-per-view is pretty stacked and shows a lot of promise of newer stars getting in the spotlight, and shows that the WWE is really starting to stop leaning on the crutches of their older superstars. And can I just say that I'm so happy. This is the first pay-per-view in such a long time where there's not a Shane McMahon match. And I love Shane, but I am so sick of Shane. And I think everyone else can agree with me. But back on more reasons to be excited about Clash of Champions, who doesn't love a pay-per-view where every title is on the line? I mean, so much excitement, right? But anyway, let's kick into things here. As usual, there will be a kickoff show, and it's safe to assume that the kickoff show will include the Cruiserweight Title match. Drew Gulak heads into his third pay-per-view as the Cruiserweight Champion since winning the title off of Nice at Stomping Grounds. Gulak will defend the title in a triple threat match against the young upstart Humberto Carrillo and Lucha House Party member Lince Dorado. I'm easily putting all my money on Drew Gulak here. He's been booked on such a strong title run, and I don't see his momentum slowing anytime soon. And with all the rumors of Triple H basically confirming that the 205 Live roster is going to merge in with NXT, I see no better option than Gulak heading to NXT with the Cruiserweight title. There's countless amounts of feuds that he could start. He could even rekindle his old feud with Kushida, which would be incredible, and I could see Kushida actually being the man to take the title off of Gulak. But that's in the future, and we're talking about right now. And right now, I see Gulak keeping the Cruiserweight title. Next up, we have the Raw Tag Team title match, where the unlikely but entertaining duo of Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman defend their titles against the brand new and promising tag team of Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. Now, we already know the insane amount of chemistry between Ziggler and Rollins from their countless matches over the past couple of years, specifically their long-lasting feud from last year, so we can already assume that this match should be thoroughly entertaining. I just hope that the new team of Roode and Ziggler don't get too lost in the storyline of Seth and Braun's match later in the evening. Now, personally, I feel that Roode and Ziggler should be the team to walk away with the belts here. Firstly, because why introduce this team of two guys who have been completely underappreciated throughout their careers in WWE with a perfect opportunity to win the titles and not pull the trigger? These are two of the best workers in the business who deserve all the spotlight on them, and they definitely should walk away with the gold here. Secondly, it's not unusual for these random fun pairings like Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman to be put together for feud purposes and then win a tag title, only to hold the title for a short time. It's been a recycled storyline in WWE history, and I can easily see that happening here. I see the match ending with some sort of incidental contact, maybe Seth super kicking Braun and then turning around and getting a bit of a super kick himself into a glorious DDT, and then get pinned to lose the titles. Seth eating the pin here would make it look like he is a little more vulnerable and could lose the title match later to Braun, while also setting up a little bit of anger from Braun, which could even result in Seth getting attacked by Braun after the match, and that would put a lot of heat onto their match, giving some more hype for what is going to probably be the main event. So yeah, my pick for this match is definitely going to be Roode and Ziggler, and when they win the titles, it will be absolutely glorious. Speaking of things that are glorious, I'm absolutely loving the push that Cedric Alexander has received lately. Cedric is getting a pretty big matchup going against the phenomenal AJ Styles for the United States title. AJ jumped Cedric in a backstage segment recently, and then Cedric pinned him in a tag match a week later to earn a shot at the US title. Quick, simple, easy little setup, and boom! Cedric has a real first feud and a big pay-per-view match since being moved full-time to Raw from 205 Live. As much as I love Cedric, I will genuinely be shocked if he defeats Styles here. I feel that there's no way AJ walks out without the title still around his waist. Even with a loss coming his way, Cedric is in a big spot to really win the crowd over here against a heel AJ Styles, who makes it look easy getting the crowd to boo him out of the building even though he's so widely loved. I see Cedric getting the crowd behind him, and he'll come close but won't be able to put AJ away, and that's just going to leave the crowd wanting Cedric to win the title even more because everybody loves an underdog. I see the crowd really backing Cedric up here, and Cedric is probably going to gain quite a few fans and get even more eyes on his already amazing athletic abilities. AJ Styles is definitely going to walk out the champion, but I believe Cedric Alexander will be the true winner here. Up next, we have Shinsuke Nakamura defending the Intercontinental Title against The Miz. In an interesting and unexpected turn of events a few weeks ago on Smackdown, Shinsuke Nakamura finally got a mouthpiece in the form of Sami Zayn. On the outside looking in, it's a bit strange of a matchup, but just minutes after it happened, I was totally in love with the idea. Sami's eccentric heel antics fit perfectly with Shinsuke's demeanor. The Miz is coming into this match on a fairly cold streak, losing his last few pay-per-view matches to Shane McMahon of all people, and not even competing on one since his loss to Shane at Money in the Bank. The Miz has really been over with the crowd on his recent babyface run, and while I would love to see The Miz capture his record-tying 9th Intercontinental Title reign, tying with Chris Jericho of course, but don't tell WWE we are mentioning one of their unmentionables. Anyways, even though seeing The Miz win would be, dare I say, awesome, I'm going with Shinsuke Nakamura on this one, and I'll be damned if Sami Zayn doesn't have something to do with it. Up next, we have The Revival versus The New Day for The New Day's Smackdown Tag Team titles. The Revival has been a topic of hot discussion over the internet ever since AEW was announced, and their displeasure with their stance within the WWE has been voiced heavily across all of social media. All that nonsense aside though, the Revival continue to be one of the most consistently entertaining teams in WWE, regardless of what they're doing. Lately they've tapped back into their more brutal mindset that made themselves popular on NXT. Just a few short weeks ago, they aligned with Orton and systematically have taken the New Day apart piece by piece, even storyline injuring Xavier's leg on Raw. Now while my heart wants me to say that the Revival will win, and I really, really want the Revival to win, my gut here has to go with the New Day. The New Day has been over with the crowd in a consistently big way for the better part of 4 years now. Their momentum doesn't seem to be slowing, and with WWE making the big move to Fox soon, I definitely see the New Day sticking around a bit longer as your WWE World Tag Team Champions. Alright, so let's talk women's wrestling now. Charlotte Flair has been a mainstay in WWE's main event scene for women's wrestling, basically since she was called up from NXT in the summer of 2015. In that same summer, Bayley was winning the hearts of wrestling fans everywhere, finally capturing the NXT Women's Championship. While Charlotte has always lived up to the expectations she has built, it's felt like Bayley has always been one step behind from capturing the connection she had with the fan base in NXT. Now don't get me wrong, none of this is a knock on Bayley. I'm actually a huge Bayley supporter, but it has always felt like something has been missing. Her recent heel turn, though, could be that something we've been looking for. Now that Charlotte has proven no matter what is going on in WWE, she will always be relevant and can easily sneak her way back into the title picture at any point in time. But this time, it's all about Bayley. If WWE really wants to capitalize on Bayley's momentum with the heel turn, they'll be smart here and keep the title on Bayley, hopefully letting her have a bit longer of a run as a heel champ, and eventually dropping the belt to where I feel it truly belongs, around the waist of Ember Moon. While we're on the topic of women's wrestling and Bayley, let's hop over to the other side of things on Raw with Bayley's best friend, Sasha Banks, and the man, Becky Lynch. Sasha made a shocking return the night after SummerSlam, and with a much-needed attitude shakeup as the heel we've always loved her as. Now while Becky has had one of the hottest years in wrestling for any wrestler, man or woman, I think it's time that she passes on that momentum to someone else who needs it, that of course being the Boss. Now I can see Bayley getting involved in the match and helping Sasha win, which could help lead to the rumors of Becky going back to SmackDown with the rumored draft and starting a high-profile feud with Bayley for the move to Fox. This of course assuming that there actually is going to be a draft. But either way, I'm calling it now. The Boss is walking out the champ in this one, and you can bank on that. Now while Clash of Champions' big selling point is every title must be defended, not every match on the card is about championship gold, which brings us to Roman Reigns versus Erick Rowan. Now the Roman-Rowan feud has taken a real interesting route, and I'm not really going to dive into the internet rumors about why the storylines went the way they did, but it was definitely strange, especially the whole Walmart brand Erick Rowan incident. But in all seriousness, the question here is it time for Erick Rowan to get a big singles win? If I can take you back a minute to December of 2014, at the Tables, Ladders, Chairs, and the unusual edition of Stairs pay-per-view, Erick Rowan had recently been freed from the Wyatt family and starting a little bit of a face run, fighting against the Authority. Rowan was put in the first ever Stairs match against the Big Show, and it seemed like Rowan was in line for a decent little push and would get the nod from the veteran Big Show and go over here, but nope. For some reason, WWE decided to let Big Show win this one, which really made no sense at the time, and, well, still doesn't now. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Roman does win here. It would make sense storyline-wise, getting his revenge for the countless attacks and attempts to end his career. Also, I mean, it's Roman. He wins matches. I also wouldn't be surprised if they swerve us, and Bryan comes out to help Rowan and reveals he was really behind it the whole time. But I'm not really sold on that one either. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's time for the Erick Rowan push, and he's going to win this match on his own Either way, this match promises to deliver some really brutal spots with a no disqualification stipulation. And with my upset pick of the night, I am going all in on Erick, Rowan. Back on the title matches, up next we have the women's tag team title match. Now these titles have unfortunately flopped a bit in significance, but putting the belt on Alexa and Nikki was the right call to bring relevance to the titles. I expect that Alexa and Nikki in Fire and Desire will put on an incredible match. All four women are some of the top women workers in wrestling. I'm not sure I see much longevity in this feud, and Sonya and Mandy are definitely going to win the tag title someday. Just not yet. Alexa and Nikki are too hot right now to take the titles off of them. I see them continuing this reign for a bit longer before the inevitable breakup and post-breakup feud to follow. But for now, Alexa and Nikki will be your women's tag team champions. Alright, I'm just going to start this next bit off here with what a year it has been for Kofi Kingston. A miracle, honestly. None of us could have ever predicted this would happen, but this run he has been on has been some of the best television and wrestling in years. I was actually at WrestleMania 35 this past April, and the feeling in the place when he won the title, it's really impossible to fluently express, but I feel that that's the exact feeling that's been replicated throughout his entire title reign. Every moment feels bigger than the last. I've honestly loved this feud with Orton, and it may be one of the top feuds of the year so far. It's come full circle, bringing up their past tensions and raising their hatred for each other even more. Now we all know how this feud ended up before, Randy burying Kofi and yada yada, but now I think it's really crucial that WWE shows the true faith that they have in Kofi Kingston, and let him do what he couldn't do before, and beat Randy Orton, and stand tall as WWE Champion. Honestly, if they don't go with Kofi Kingston over Randy Orton, there's only one word that I can use to describe WWE if they do this. Stupid. But in all honesty, Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston will probably be match of the night, and I hope that they actually let them finish this with a clean win and Kofi Kingston walking out your WWE Champion. And finally, here we are, to the match that I believe will be the main event, Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman for the Universal title. Now honestly, I have two different scenarios that ultimately have the same result, but before I get into those, I have to mention, of course, The Fiend. Bray Wyatt has been all over social media calling out both Seth and Braun and teasing facing the winner at Hell in a Cell, even going as far as "See you in hell" on a recent Firefly Funhouse. Scenario 1. The Fiend interferes near the end of the match, causing a double disqualification and eventually leading to a triple threat match inside of a Hell in a Cell between Seth, Braun, and The Fiend. While I normally don't like the double disqualification route, I'm all for it if it leads to a triple threat Hell in a Cell match involving these three. And Scenario 2. Seth and Braun put on a hell of a match, and Seth puts Braun away on his own, clean. It wouldn't be that shocking for Seth to do so, seeing as he just beat Brock Lesnar cleanly at SummerSlam last month. Beating Braun clean will only push the fact that Seth Rollins is the best wrestler in the world. Of course, I still have it in my mind that at the end of the match, The Fiend will make an appearance and attack Rollins. I mean, you can't leave Bray Wyatt off this pay-per-view with how hot he is lately, can you? But either way, if Seth beats Braun clean and then goes on to lose to The Fiend at Hell in a Cell, it'll book The Fiend as incredibly strong, because he will have defeated the man who beat both Brock and Braun clean in back-to-back title defenses. Regardless of where the storyline goes, I'm picking Seth Rollins to walk out of Clash of Champions, still your Universal Champion. Alright guys, that about wraps it up here. Just so you're aware, you can also follow me on both Twitter and Instagram at The Bobby Holiday. Lately, I post daily on this day in pro wrestling posts, among other nonsense, so keep your eyes peeled on that. Also, I'll be posting my review and grades of Clash of Champions, as well as seeing how accurate my predictions were sometime this week after the pay-per-view. So make sure you subscribe to my page and keep in touch with the videos I'll be posting. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, stay sexy everybody.